live here. I won't go through the normal, can you hear me or not? I'll just assume everybody does unless you guys leave a comment. Otherwise, um, so I'm trying something new. I did a live about a week ago or 5 or 6 days ago. Got a lot of good feedback. I kind of like the platform or the that format, and essentially, at least for the immediate future, based on some feedback and how things go, I'm gonna kind of do my weekly plus updates on the Van Mill just via lives. For all I get, these lives sometimes can be long. And what I'm going to do in the first initial half, though, is just basically uh, just talk through and cover what I wanted to cover and try to get it done within about the first 7 to 10 minutes. And if any questions come up, either that are posted in advance or through the live itself, I'll address those questions after. So if you see this and you want to tune in and check it out, but you don't necessarily want to watch the whole thing, which I totally understand, I'll try to knock out some of the updates and a couple things I want to talk about right in the beginning. So, all right, guys. So let's talk about some updates. So last week, um, I had showed you guys that I got most of this siding on the side done and over on the other side, which I'll show you in a second. But I had not finished the upper portion here. Let me scoot over. I had not finished this upper portion here, and I did not. I believe I also didn't have that. Or maybe I did have that storage done in the back. But then also, I got some stuff done over in the kitchen. I'll talk about that in a second, though. But one of the big design things that was really important to me here on this wall was to get, and this was kind of aesthetic here, was to get this nice sweeping arch, I guess you would call it. And I think it turned out really nice. Let me move this around a little bit more there. But you can see now we have it married up to the ceiling. Now, as you guys can see right here, so this is some of that thin-solid insulation. This puffs out about inch and a half, inch and 3/4 or so. Um, this wall where this comes in there, I got a tape measure handy. Let me see how much of a gap here. I think it's about 3 or 4 inches here. Let's see. Um, Yeah, so from an inside depth from the wall, we're looking at about 3 and 3/4, 4 inches, depending on how much you compress that thin slit. So it was a little bit of space, and that came into play because of this sweep here, right? So what I did is, man, this van has turned out to be really well insulated. This already had 2 layers of thin slit, which I had laid down here, but because I had a little bit more of a gap, um, I had this right here is I think it's about an inch and a half of the EPS foam board. I had a bunch of it left over um, from Camper 7.0 build, so I decided to go ahead and this was almost cut to perfect size anyways, but I cut it in shape, and within this expanded cavity here, there's also a piece of that inch and a half EPS foam board that runs the full length down there, and I of course did the same over here. So this is the other wall here that you guys can see. Um, this curves on up all the way, meeting up to the ceiling there. And the same thing, I added in that additional um, piece of EPS foam board insulation. Um, let's see, Andrea. Oh, thank you so much, Andrea. The craftsmanship is amazing. I appreciate that, Andrea. Thank you so much. Um, so when I talked about it last week, and I won't go in great depth, but one of the things that I really want to do is have, compared to how most Class Bs are, and certainly how this one was previous to me tearing it out and rebuilding it, is it was very confined in here. So I wanted to have this open platform, and I struggled. I talked about last week about planning and when you can move forward and when you need to wait till what you want to do, and like I talked about before, this upper area that kind of runs around the circumference of what would be the high top portion here, I had struggled a lot with how I want. We don't want to put too. I don't want to. I'm sorry. Let me start over. I struggled a lot with how I wanted to do this by creating an open format, yet at the same time making sure that I have enough storage in here. I had to strike a balance, right? And ultimately, as you guys see here, the balance I struck was in that far back, I created that big open storage area back there. And of course, up here in the front, um, as you guys can see right here, it's not framed out yet, or it's not, I don't have the siding on it, but this will be another very large storage area here. And underneath, if you guys recall from last week or other videos, in this area right here, this actually lifts up, and it's like kind of like a chest. There's a pretty significant amount of storage in there. And the kitchen area will have some storage, and there's some other little places. So my long-winded point to all this is I kind of felt like, all right, I've still got a pretty solid amount of storage in here. So I went ahead and decided that was my decision, to kind of balance storage with having an open space. I wouldn't put any kind of storage cabinets along this perimeter there. So, and I think it's going to work out fine. I think between all those storage locations I talked about, I added one in that far back that wasn't there before. I think we'll be looking just fine. So let's go back here and take a little bit of a better look, because I've gotten some of the bottom sections here all wrapped up. So bear with me. All right, let's see. I'm actually going to take my phone off the thing here. Sorry, guys. All right. All right, let's see if we can get a look. Okay, so obviously, okay, so what we're looking at here is this is the storage cabinet, and this is the back of the van. Obviously, I need to cut a piece for up here, which I will. But I had to frame out around the vent fan. So those are the two lights that you guys see up there. And, what I did is, if you guys recall, and we could see up here, is this little bump out right here. And this would have been originally the bump out for the AC unit. Here, it actually went up a little bit on these sides, okay? Now, this little bit of space here it wasn't something I was going to use. So what I did is I added a little bit of extra insulation, and then it made it easier, is because when I framed out this bottom, literally just went wall to wall. So I think that's a better look. The way it was in its original configuration is this little bump out was actually wrapped in like a foam, I don't know, like a vinyl fabric kind of thing. And this upper, I hope I'm making sense here, this upper extended portion was open. So this, and there was actually some cabinets here, and that's what it was for. But since there's no cabinets here, boom, I just extended it. And then, as you guys can see, I've not put it in place yet, because I want to do the little ring there for the vent fan will fit perfect in there. So that brings up another point. Right now I'm just kind of focusing on getting a lot of bulk stuff done. So getting all these walls in place, all this siding up. There will be a lot of finish work that has to come into play. So like, I'll give you an example here. So down in that corner, of course you want to do the best job you can to get all those to line up, but I don't know if that's showing up in the video. I think it is. Like down up in that corner, you can see those little space. My fingers are kind of there you go. You guys can see there's like a little gap right there. I'll put in I'll put in a piece of trim right there, and there's various nail holes and stuff in here from when I used the 18 gauge brad nailer to attach all these cedar siding portions here. Okay, so let's move on over to the kitchen area here. All right. So as you guys can see, I've got all this siding around here. Okay, now this whole thing will eventually be all finished up, but just step by step here. But I'm liking how it's working out. There, of course, will be a piece of trim, that'll go up this edge here and make it look nice and neat. But the stove here, let me move some of this stuff. This opens up really nice. So just like that. And then up underneath here, you can see there's a slight, sorry guys, right there. You can see there's a slight overhang with this burner on the back. Now I've ran that quite a bit. It's not too big of a deal. But what I did is I found, I apologize, I can't remember what it was called, but it's basically like a heat reflective sticking tape here. Let me move this underneath here. I know this is, there you guys go, to kind of help deflect some of that heat. And I also put that back here. Let's see. I actually also put that underneath here because down here we've got the water heater and the furnace. Where's the furnace at? Yeah, it's right underneath there. So they produce quite a bit of heat, so I just wanted to have something there. And that's what that product's made for. It's meant to kind of reflect some of that heat coming off of it. And then on the outside here, I actually put in a awning. So up there you guys can see I got a awning. I put that on. If any of you guys are interested, I can do a little video as to how I mounted this one, but I kind of modified it. This is a relatively inexpensive awning. I think this one is about 150, 175 bucks. It's something you find on Amazon. But I modified the mounting hardware to attach it to the side of the high top, just in the event that I wanted to replace the awning at another time. So, but guys, that's about it in terms of updates. My plan here in the next couple weeks, or next week, is to get all this sited up here and finish all of the kitchen area. There'll be some drawers and other storage down in this area. If you guys have no other questions or anything, I'll call it from here. And just to recap, at least in the initial future, I'll kind of gauge it on feedback. My plan is to kind of do these live updates for my weekly updates on the van. And if you guys have, I'll just do it every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific. I'll try to keep it short as far as getting all the initial discussion in the first half in case no one wants to use it. But if there's any questions that come up, whether in the live or beforehand or something that comes to me, I'll address it in the latter half. Otherwise, if you guys have no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and end it for now. So thank you guys for tuning in, and let me know what you guys think of this format. So thank you very much.